Good morning, Culinary One. It's Mr. Perfetto here. Not in the camera, though. That's my wife. My wife, Heather. Mrs. Perfetto, to you. And today we're going to do something a little different. She's going to do a roux. We're going to do a demonstration. And then after you pay close attention to what's going on, you're going to get the opportunity to go in, make a roux, a white sauce, and hopefully we'll have some macaroni and cheese by the end of the class. So, turn it over to the boss.
Okay, good morning, Culinary One at East Haven High. I'm Chef Perfetto. Today I'm going to demonstrate how to make a roux. A roux is a French word. It's basically an equal part mixture of melted clarified butter and flour that is cooked out to activate the starch, and it is used to thicken sauces. So the first thing I'm going to do is teach you how to make the roux, and then I'm going to show you how to thicken two sauces that I have today. And after that, we're going to go ahead and make the white sauce. So first, we're going to put into a pan 4 tablespoons of butter, and we're going to melt that. Say 4 tablespoons, nice even pats of butter, and we're going to melt that. While that's melting, I'll just tell you what is here on the stove, okay? This is a poaching liquid from a poached salmon that I did for somebody. We're going to turn this into a velouté. And this is some fish stock with some butter simmered in it from a tilapia that I made for a customer, and we're going to turn that into a beurre blanc, and we're going to thicken it with the roux that I'm going to make here. So this sauce we want hot. We're going to add the roux with the hot sauce, and you'll see it thicken. So I'm letting those simmer while my butter is melting. So you want to go ahead and get your butter all the way melted. Now when you're measuring butter by the tablespoon, if you have a stick of butter like this, here was our mise en place, right? You guys talk about mise en place in school. A stick of butter tells you how many tablespoons are in each stick of butter, right here, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 per stick. So 16 per half pound and 32 per pound. So that is, it's about a half an ounce. A tablespoon of butter is about a half an ounce. The recipe you guys are going to make is going to be 1.5 tablespoons of butter and 1.5 tablespoons of flour to a pint of milk, but we're going to get to that next. Are they going to prepare classic French with the onion piqué?
No.
Okay. So classic French, there's something called an onion piqué, and Chef Perfetto can describe that to you at another time, but it's basically an onion with a bay leaf and 2 cloves studded, and that's traditionally how bechamel sauce is made. You simmer your milk with the onion piqué, and then you go ahead and add it to your roux. So here I'm adding the flour. And did you guys watch the culinary video? Okay, so you saw the chef from Culinary make his roux. His was a little thinner, I think, than mine. Maybe he cooked it out more, but... So it looks like, this is how it was described to me when I was in culinary school. It's supposed to look like the consistency of sand, right? Wet sand or toothpaste. All right, so I'm activating the starch. I'm cooking it a little bit, and you don't want to burn it. You just want to cook it. Okay, now I have these like little dough balls that I'm going to scoop up with my whisk, and I'm going to add to my sauce over here. And you'll see this watery sauce start to thicken. I'm actually going to switch. It's not very hot.
You add it all. You don't add it all at once, right?
Well, I tried to guesstimate how much I want to add, but I don't add it all at once. This other one I'm going to pour into the roux because trying to do this in this little pan isn't. But you can see that it's thickening up, right? Now, if you have a saucepan, as opposed to a saute, this is a saute pan. If you have a saucepan, I'm going to show you in the next one, you have to be careful to get the roux out of the corners. Otherwise, you're going to have this like sticky, nasty, floury starch in your sauce. So see, that was the consistency of this liquid right here, this one. And now you can see it's called nappe, all right? And I'll show you what that is next. Nice and thick. I whisked out all those pieces of flour, right? So nappe is a term used for coat the back of a spoon. So I'm going to show you. This sauce will coat the back of a spoon, and I can draw a line in it, and the line will stay there, okay? Like every good chef, right? You got to taste your sauce. That's perfect. So we'll set that one aside. That goes with a salmon dish. This one I'm going to demonstrate the opposite direction so I can show you what I'm talking about, the flour sticking in the corners. So in a pan like this, your roux is going to stick in these corners. All right, so I'm going to add this hot stock to this roux. And I'm going to add it in 2 parts because I want to get all those corners out. See, so I made it nice thick paste, and now I'm thinning it out with the remainder of my stock. I didn't measure my stock, so this is me just being a professional chef, guessing at how much roux I need by understanding the action of it, how much I need to thicken that sauce.
You know, I was going to explain to him too, at like Thanksgiving time, you know, where everybody's got all these drippings and they want to make their gravy, and it's like, how do I make gravy? How do I, you know, nobody knows how to make gravy. You know,
Right.
We need to buy gravy.
This is how you make gravy.
It's like, this is how you make gravy. If you
Okay.
guys, you know, if you can come out of one thing out of this lesson, you should be able to make the gravy at Thanksgiving time.
So this is too thick, right? Too thick. So now what do I do if it's too thick? I'm going to add more liquid. Okay, so I just got a little bit of liquid, and now I can thin it out to the consistency that I want it to be.
It's just water, right?
I just got water, but you could use stock, fish stock, vegetable stock, chicken stock, cream. I just used water because that's what I had. And I know there was a lot of flavor in that poaching liquid. All right, again, what's the consistency of a sauce, right? It's gravy. It's consistency of gravy. Or, it's like I just said, taking a spoon and doing your nappe test. Okay? It's holding that. So then when you go to, for example, if you go to a plate, right? Your sauce is going to stay in the middle of your plate rather than run out like a broken egg, right? And then you can work it around, and you would put your fish or your chicken or whatever you like. You could also take these basic sauces, right? These mother sauces, fish fumet, velouté, thickened stock is velouté. You guys are going to learn about that later. You can add different herbs to this. You could add sage, you could add dill, you could add thyme, you could add basil, you could add fire roasted tomatoes, right? So once you figure out how to make the basic mother sauce, the fond sauce, the foundation sauce, then you can move on and dress up your plates by adding other ingredients to it.
Right. We were talking in class about, you know, why is it so important that a chef can make good sauces? And I was saying, you know, hey, anybody can boil. Well, hopefully anybody can boil pasta out of a bag, or you know,
Right.
Or cook a chicken breast. But you know, it's boring without a good sauce. It's boring.
All right, so we're going to do a quick cleanup here.
All right, so we're getting ready for the do a roux in a white sauce. Take a quick tour over here. Well, do you want to say hi to everybody? That's my baby. Hey. She usually likes to come in the videos, but it's kind of nap time right now. And you could hear the rooster out back. Hey, it's a Monday or Tuesday, depending on when you're gonna see this video. So here's my bees. It's one of the hives, and we're right at the end of the season. So, you know, again, look how close you can get to the. I got stung. No, I'm only kidding. You know, you can get really close. Like I said, they're getting ready for the winter. And there's my other hive. And these are my girls here. And that's my rooster. Speckles. There's Speckles. She's the only one who can come out. Nobody else pays attention. All right, so let's get back inside. We'll do the roux. And my backyard. Pool's closed. Got one more tomato I have to pick. And we got a little greenhouse in the backyard. And the gardens we're ready to put away for the year. But all right, back to the kitchen. All right, I did the nickel tour of the yard.
Okay, so we're gonna go again here. This is what you guys are gonna be doing.
Again, this is what's one and a half tablespoons.
1.5 tablespoons flour. Butter melted. Right, so this is what you guys are gonna do. So you'll have this video in the stream. You'll be able to go back and look at it as many times as you need to look at it to figure out what you're doing. One thing you want to consider is when you're grabbing this pot to make your roux in, make sure it's big enough to put this milk in, okay? You don't want to grab a small pot and then put too much milk in. So you need something that's going to be able to hold a pint of milk, right? This is a pint of milk, right? 2 cups is a pint.
My class knows 2 cups is a pint.
How many ounces are in a pint? I'm not going to tell you. We'll see how many get that right. And how much does a pint weigh? All right, so measuring your flour, right? This is not a tablespoon of flour. I know you guys did measuring. This is a tablespoon of flour, okay? A half a tablespoon is 1.5 teaspoons. So go ahead and do it. Probably measure this out beforehand. You guys probably measure this into like little cups or something. Yes. Yep. All right, so 1.5 tablespoons of flour, 1.5 tablespoons of butter. Okay, and your pint of milk. Now this looks more like the, because I actually measured this one. My other one I just kind of winged it. This looks more like the culinary guys.
We can't be complacent too. We can't just like stir it for a second and say, oh.
No, but let's remember this too, okay? There's more than one temperature on the stove. Okay, I tell my kids all the time, this is high and this is low. Unless you're a professional chef, you don't have to be cooking up here on high all the time, right? You can cook down here in medium. So that you don't have to be, what I'm doing, frantically whisking this around here. All right, so I'm cooking it to activate the starch. And then I'm going to go ahead and add my hot milk. Now, ideally, this milk would have had the onion and the clove and the bay leaf in it, because that's classic French. And again, I'm going to add a little bit till I start to get the thickening I want to see. And on this one, this is a pot with the edges that you need to be mindful of now. So I'm using that whisk to make sure I'm getting the roux out of the edges. Otherwise, you're just going to have clumps of flour. I got to go higher. I'm not patient enough. You guys are going to be patient with this, okay? And then one thing I'm going to encourage you to do is first just make it with no seasoning in it and get a spoon and taste it, okay? I want you guys all to taste what it is when it's just flour and milk. And then I want you to go ahead and add the salt, the nutmeg, and the white pepper that it's classically called for. And taste the difference. You'll see a big difference in it. I'm going to change your recipe for tomorrow to 2 tablespoons of butter and 2 tablespoons of flour. Because I didn't get that whole pint of milk in there. I'm trying to take a recipe for a gallon of bechamel and break it down into something small and manageable so that everybody in your classroom gets to make it. So that was one reason we practiced it today, was so we could see. All right, those are the edges I'm talking about. You don't want to get it stuck in there, but if you keep it with this, I'd say, how much milk is this? 4.5 cups.
Again, you can't walk away. You can't walk away from this.
Someone's gonna. You'll be unhappy if you do, because what you get on the bottom of the pan is burnt stuck milk, and that's not really very fun at all. So that was a pint. So 1.5 cups. If you're gonna stick with 1.5 tablespoons each, go with 1.5 cups. Okay. So that'll be easy to remember, guys. Equal parts, right? Well, not quite, but 1.5 tablespoons of flat milk, butter, 1.5 tablespoons of flour, 1.5 cups of milk. So now we will go ahead and taste this. You could keep cooking it too until it thickens more. It depends on what you're going to do with it. So what can you do with this? You can make macaroni and cheese. You can make pesto cream sauce for pasta. You can add tomato sauce and make penne vodka sauce for pasta. You could make southern gravy for chicken fried steak. You can make Alfredo sauce by adding Parmesan cheese for fettuccine Alfredo. You can make Mexican crema. There's a lot of things you can do with it. You can make a hot dip out of this now by adding things like cream cheese, buffalo chicken, and blue cheese. You have an amazing dip for a football weekend. Okay, so for the seasoning, this is white pepper, and the reason you use white pepper is because you don't want a seed in there. I'm not going to measure it, but it's a pinch. Okay, pinch of white pepper. Then I want you to taste it again with the white pepper and the salt in it. So a pinch of salt is just that, a pinch. Okay, and this is where I want you guys to stop and taste it, because we did this a couple weeks ago, and it's amazing what the difference is between this. See, I'm not stirring it, it's starting to stick in the bottom. A little more salt. Okay, and then add the nutmeg. It's just a pinch of nutmeg, it's barely covering my hand there, and then you can see it in the pan. All right, too much of this and it'll taste disgusting. The right amount of it tastes beautiful. Okay, white pepper because you don't want your sauce to have little black flakes in it, right? If I use this, just for example, if I use black pepper, right, now people look at that and they think you have dirt in it. Okay, who wants to eat dirt? Nobody wants to eat dirt. And yes, I'm reusing the same spoon because our family's going to eat it. If you were serving the public, you would have to wash your spoon. That's perfect. There you go. Now you know. So, you want to turn this into anything, or you want to leave it?
No, we're gonna turn to macaroni and cheese. So.
Okay, so to do macaroni and cheese now, you would take this. You would boil your macaroni, you would put your shredded cheese and Parmesan cheese in the bowl with your macaroni, and then you would add this white sauce, saving a little bit for the top, for the Parmesan and the breadcrumb and the cheese on top, because that makes that nice crust on top of your macaroni. But one thing at a time, okay? First you're gonna make roux, then you're gonna make bechamel, then you're gonna turn your bechamel into something else. So this is a mother sauce, right? One of the 5 mother sauces. Once you learn how to make the basic sauces, then you can fly from there and, you know, wow your family with the things that you know how to create. But if you learn how to make this, you can make macaroni and cheese in time for Thanksgiving. You can also make beautiful cream soups out of this, like cream of broccoli soup, cream of butternut soup, clam chowder, right? So this is the basis of all those lovely cream soups too. Anybody has any questions, you let me know.
Thank you.